Hello, everyone. Welcome to the sixth session of the Podium Tech Talk. Stay tuned and let's give others a few more minutes to join for the session. Uh, Hi, Johan. Kassapa, can you guys hear me?
Yes, Sahan. Good afternoon. I can hear you loud
Super.
and clear.
Awesome. So if you guys are ready, you guys can share the screen and we can start.
Okay, thank you, Sahan.
Super. Give me a minute to do a small introduction, then we can start off. Nitish, Kassapa, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
I hope
awesome.
you can see my screen also.
Yes, I can see your screen. Hi, Johan. Yeah, can see your screen. All good.
Hi, Sam.
So once again, hi everyone, and good afternoon, and thank you for joining the sixth session of this all-new Tech Talk series, The Podium by Asiata Digital Labs. A series of innovative, interactive and knowledgeable webinars aiming to enlighten you on the latest trends in the world of digital transformation, and how Asiata Digital Labs provides services that accelerate the global digital adoption of the businesses around the world. We would warmly welcome your speakers for today's session, Kassapa Jayasinghe and Yohan Peiris, who are two of our very own industrial experts and architects for the managed services team, working with businesses providing end-to-end information technology offerings at ADL on a variety of projects. Kassapa Jayasinghe is an enthusiastic IT professional with over 16 years of experience in the IT industry with multicultural and also overseas exposure. He holds an MBS in Business Studies from the University of Colombo, and he completed his bachelor's in Information Technology at Sri Lanka Institute of Information. And I would also like to welcome and introduce Yohan Peiris, who is another passionate IT professional at ADL, who completed his bachelor's at the University of Peradeniya and his postgraduate diploma in informatics at the University of Edinburgh. Yohan possesses over 12 years of experience in the IT industry and certified in many technological applications such as Huawei Cloud, ITIL, and PostgreSQL EDB. So today's session will be an introduction to managed services, and our speakers will touch on some main topics such as what are managed services, people involved in managed services, fundamentals of managed services, about ADL managed services, and also some use cases. So without further ado, I'll hand over the session to Kassapa and Yohan. Guys, over to you.
Right. Thank you very much, Sahan. Thank you for the nice introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. And we warmly welcome for today's session. And thank you, everyone, for joining today's session. Let me share my.
We can't see your screen. Yes, please.
Yeah, let me share my screen again. Right. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, Kassapa.
Right. Okay. So let's as Sahan introduced, today's topic is all about managed services. It's a kind of a introduction session for today's forum because yes, the managed services is well-known business in the world and the other industries in the industry at the moment. But at the same time, we would like to share what the managed services is in the form of ADL flavor. Right. So let me let me go to the agenda. So here we will talk about what our managed services is, and then the what are the managed services modes, the made of, how it has been managed services has been built. And then we will talk about a bit of who are the big players in managed services industry, because managed services has been a huge industry as we speak, and it has been known for a big chunk of revenue in IT industry. And then we will talk about who are the managed services for. And then we will talk about managed services delivery model, the ADL delivery model, how it has been modeled to deliver our managed services, service deliveries, and then the delivery structure and our offerings. So what are the offerings that we are giving at the moment, as well as what are the things that we can potentially do, provide to the market. And then we will take you through the skills that we look for to become a managed services professional under ADL. And then what are the why you need to join ADL managed services team, and what kind of benefits you get, and so on and so forth. So then that's pretty much about the agenda. So let me straight away jump into the first section, which is what the managed services is. So managed services, as I mentioned earlier, it is a totally different discipline, unique discipline, I would say, with the collection of different types of services. So this has been initially in a couple of decades ago. This has been started as a technical support or maybe application support kind of a mode. Then there should be some team or some division who would look after the applications or the softwares or the infrastructure which is used in production environments, not only production but also in the other environment as well. So it's a collection of services, I would say, right? So it's a collection of services such as technical support, the technical consultancy, service delivery, the business operation, technical operations, infrastructure support, the cloud support, cloud managed services, likewise. Whatever, I mean, it's a that is the components, those are the different services which is club inside the managed services. So that's why I always see managed services as a unique discipline. It's a collection of different type of services, and even when it is come to technologies, when it is come to disciplines, it's a collections of disciplines, right? So then that's why it is very much unique. Uh, if you look at a managed services as an area, as a domain. So, and this managed services covers different domains like banking, telecommunication, fintech, hospitality, and logistics. Likewise, it's a variety of domains. And then if you take technologies, it cut across all the technologies that we are using in the software field or the IT field at the moment. And in terms of services, so not only application support, technical support, the cloud managed services, and all those things are included in this. And then if you take standards, so we have different standard, industry standard, or the best practices, or in other words, it's processes. So we are cutting across all the standards, all the processes, right? Not only ITIL, PMP, Prince tool, but also if you take fintech applications, so we have a banking regulations, then banking standards to follow. If you take the telecommunication, so we have, if you take Sri Lanka, we have a TRC regulations to follow, and similar to that in other countries also, they have regulatory bodies which we have to work according to. So then we are cutting across a lot of standards also. And then managed services is a discipline or a team or a division which uh, build the bridge between technical audience and the business audience, or rather technical audience and the non-technical audience, because uh, so we do need to understand that the things in the technical way as well as the business way or the non-technical way as well. So if you take a IT ecosystem, so IT landscape in an organization, we have technical people, we do have business people which are non-technical or maybe semi-technical, and the managed services is the team or the division or the discipline uh, uh, who bridge the the bridge between these two teams. So in that way, we need to have the view from the both end, and we should be able to, we should have an ability of understanding the things from the both the ends. So, and as I mentioned earlier, so this discipline has been uh, started with Fortune companies, top companies in couple of decades ago, because they have been identified. There has to be a dedicated, there has to be a specific team or a role to look after the post-production environments, environments after go live. So, and then it has been developed from that level to now. So we have a which where we have a totally separate or totally unique discipline in the industry as we speak. So, and not only that, so this has been identified as a one of the key revenue generating business uh, in the industry, because this is unique and this is very much required in to run the IT to run the organization operations. So now you, as you know, almost all the organization has been supported with the IT layer, the softwares, hardwares, cloud, and all those things. So then there has to be somebody who look after those things in simple terms. So, and it has the business should not be deviating their focus because of these technical stuff or the IT stuff. And they because of that, the industry wanted to have a specialized team or a specialized discipline to look after the technical stuff or the IT ecosystem, while the business is focusing on the business. So because of that, now the managed services has been known as a one of the good revenue generation business in the industry. Not only that, there are a lot of organizations who do this as a business, the core business in the industry in the entire world. So so with that, let me take you to the next section. So this is the high level components or the high level building blocks of managed services. The managed services is not only one delivery or a one discipline or a one division. So it's a collection of different services. So starting from help desk services or a knock or a SOC operation. So which is where the the function is to keep their eye on the system, the live operations, and to act as a interface between the business and the technical teams, right? So in this, there are a lot of uh, sub functions under this component. So, and there are deliveries which build around only on this function itself. So that means there are deliveries, there are delivery uh, contracts or the engagements which build around only on this function. So, but this is a part of an overall package or the overall managed services. So then this is where the non-technical users or in some cases in the technical users are interfacing with the other technical support teams. So this will be the interface, or this will be the front ending team to deal with the non-technical team or a technical team from the other side, from the business side. So they will be reaching out to this particular team, or this particular, they will be using this particular service to get their issues reported, to get their clarification done, to request certain things likewise. So that is where the help desk and the service desk function comes. And then the NOC and the SOC operation, they are totally focusing on the monitoring aspect of this application or the infrastructure or the cloud environments. And there are a lot of tools are being used, and there are a lot of dashboards, a lot of alerting has been implemented on this. And that is the kind of a very crucial function. That's actually, if this NOC and the SOC operates properly, So we can reduce a lot of potential issues. We can get rid of a lot of issues in the future. So the lot of proactive work happens at NOC and SOC level. So then NOC operations, the network operation center, which is look after the infrastructure, the application infrastructure, the servers and those things. In terms of monitoring aspect, and the SOC operation, the security operation. Then the security monitoring happens at under this function. So this is mostly nowadays the industry is always look for a proactive work rather than reactive. Proactive in the sense like before issue comes, if there's a way, if we can get to know that okay, there will be an issue in the future, so we can take certain actions in advance. So that is what the proactive way of working is. And so this function helps a lot to understand how the IT ecosystem behaves. So whether it is running under the business as usual, or if it is there's a peaks or a drops, or there is any deviation. So likewise, so we can identify using our tools and the techniques that we are using in under this function. And that is the one function. And the other one is the business and security operations. So when it's come to operations, so then this means when we are working with an application or a platform or a infrastructure, there has to be somebody who's qualified and skillful to do those operations, business operation on behalf of the business teams. So there are certain activities under respective businesses. If you take telecommunication or a banking, they have specific tasks to perform. So under those tasks, there are certain steps to follow. So those we identified as a business operations activities. So for example, if I take telecommunication billing, right? In billing, when we have a business operation activities to run, for example, starting from rating to clearing the rating rejection, the rating reconciliation, and the bill generation likewise. And then finally run the month-end bill. Likewise, there are business operation activities that we need to perform under this service. So, and this could be a part of a bigger engagement, or this service itself could be a engagement. So then there are engagements like that as well. So when it comes to security operations also, the same, there are certain activities that we need to do in a given frequency. That frequency could be hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, likewise. So this has to be another main function under managed services. And the next one is technical support and application support, which is commonly known as support, the software support or the application support. And this is where all these managed services concept has been born. So any application after the development team has been designing the architect, and then finally they will take it to life. Right? So then we need to there has to be some a team who looked after that particular application, or it could be application, it could be a environment, or it could be a servers, it could be databases, it could be a cloud environment, could be application also. So likewise, so this particular function is unique to identify the issues and fix the issues in the environment, right? So that's why initially, as I mentioned, they started this only for the production, but nowadays the various services or the support teams looked after the other environment also. But mainly the business expectations, the organization expectation is to look after the live operations. So if the live operation interrupts due to some issue or some bug or maybe some challenging situation, so then they will report that service interruption or an issue to this particular team or this particular and after that this particular service has been activated, and then the people in this particular divisions or the teams will troubleshoot that issues and fix it. And that fixing also could be happen in a different levels. Then we have 4 layers service architecture: L1, L2, L3, L4. So and in certain organization we have the DevOps model. So and all these things are falling under this. So in nutshell, so this is the function or this is the service uh, which looked after the issue fixing, issue troubleshooting, and making sure that the applications or the environments are performing as per the expectation of business. So within this is the function, make sure that the business is not interrupted due to any impediments or any issues from the application or a environment. Right. So then the consultancy. So in this function, the managed services teams I study the environment, so study the current processes, study the current way of working. It could be application support environment, or it could be infrastructure support environment. It could be in terms of processes, in terms of best practices. It depends on the engagement to engagement, but this does what this service does is they do the analysis, they do the study, how the ecosystem works, IT ecosystem works, and then it will come up. Then we will come up with the recommendations or the process. Identify what are the processes we need to implement, and in the IT ecosystem. So and it involves study the process identification, process tailoring, process implementation, and execution. So and it involves the change management also, right? So and that is what the consultancy is. And then when it comes to cloud managed services, this is one of the hot topics in the industry at the moment. So when it is come to cloud environments, so managed services, the cloud managed services also falling under managed services umbrella. This has a lot of in terms of cloud service providers, we have different flavors, and in terms of services, we have different flavors under each cloud, and we have different models altogether, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS likewise. So then this take looking after the respective cloud environments, servers, and the services is the responsibility of this particular service. So, and then if I take you to the next one, the infrastructure support, and this has been there for a while in the industry. So when we have if we have a on-prem servers, on-prem databases, on-prem network switches likewise. So then this is where we talks about infrastructure support. But when it is come now, we are in the process of moving towards the cloud. We have a infrastructure support within the cloud managed services also in a different form. So when it even though if we take a cloud environment, we do have servers, we do have databases, we do have network, we do have switches, routers, load balancers, like that. So then it's a kind of a mix of these two things together. And the last one, but not the last, but not the least, So this is very, very important when it is come to managed services, but not only managed services. Having a best practices is good for any discipline, right? But especially in managed services, we have to think about the consistency and the predictability. So when it is come to business, the day-to-day business, it could be a telecommunication organization, it could be a hospital or a hotel or a restaurant or maybe manufacturing plant. They have a business to do. They have a focused business, and it doesn't. They don't entertain any surprises, any drops, any interruptions. So then maintaining a consistency is a key in managed services, and at the same time, if when we are maintaining that consistency, using the best practices. The best practices is the shield, is the model, is the block to maintain that consistency. So when we are maintaining that consistency, sorry, we get the predictability automatically. So then we know where to drive the vehicle, the business, right? So where to direct, right? Where to sell, right? So having the best practices is another key in the managed services. So then if you take any of these components that we have talked about so far, is tightly coupled with the best practices in this best practices, right? The actually, in other words, a lot of people refer this as a processes. So I tend to prefer them as a best practices, because processes word, a lot of people doesn't like that word, but processes is nothing but collection of best practices, because this has been practiced by multiple different organizations in a different scale, and it has been proven that these standard, these processes, this way of working is the best so far, right? So these are actually the guidelines for all our deliveries, all our services that we have talked about so far, and it gives us a direction how to do it in a proper way and a disciplined manner, right? So and then it has been uh, tested in different environments, different types of applications, different types of stakeholders. So that's why these standards and the best practices are coming very handy when we are doing the managed services business. So that's if you take all these components together, that's what we call managed services. So and we shouldn't be forgetting that these services can be delivered independently as well as a combination. Combination could be any combination, right? So it could be the service desk, help desk plus operations and technical support, or maybe only technical support, maybe technical support and consultancy, or maybe consultancy only. Likewise, we can have any mix in the managed services. So yes, it's a vast domain, and it covers a lot of services and a lot of areas and the domains and the technologies. But at the same time, its beauty is that we can have any sort of a mix, any sort of a combination in day-to-day deliveries. So even from the receiver end, even from the provider end, we can have that mix ready. Right. I hope now you have got some understanding about what the managed services is and what is how it has been composed. And now let me share a couple of interesting area. So who are the big players in managed services business, right? If you take a lot of big names in IT industry, right? So I'm not saying that all, but majority of the big names, giants in IT industry has been doing managed services as a business. So either their total revenue comes from managed services, or maybe major portion is coming from managed services. So if you take big names like HCL, Ericsson, IBM, TCS, TechM, Cognizant, like Capgemini, like those, Fujitsu, those people are doing the managed services as their business. So that is, I mean, I thought of putting this information across just to give you understand that the managed services is a vast industry with lot of opportunities, a lot of world class organization, world class deliveries, world class exposure. So this gives you a understanding how the where the managed services is in the spectrum of IT, the IT ecosystem in the IT industry. Right? So that's why I mentioned in the previous slide, in terms of the way of working, the consistent and the unique way of working, and using the best practices from the industry is very, very important. So that means if you take any of these organizations, they will follow the same best practices, maybe slightly different way, slightly unique way to organization to organization. It could be same because, as I mentioned earlier, those practices, best practices, and the processes uh, are are there as a guidance or the guideline or a framework. It's up to us to tailor it and use it in our convenience. Right? See, always there is a room to improve. Right. So, but anyway, if you follow that, if you are in managed services business, if you are in managed services team, uh, uh, you will eventually get into a international standard, which is in par with these giants in the industry. So, right, that's the takeaway from this particular slide. So let me take you to the next slide. Why we need managed services? Uh, uh, why managed services is for, right? So basically, the requirement is to have managed services. As I mentioned earlier, the initial requirement is to have a dedicated focus team to look after these environments and the in the IT ecosystem. In that case, in that scenario, so we wanted to have a or the rather not we, actually the business wanted to have a plan way of doing it and the control way of doing it. So if we go for a managed services, if some organization purchase a managed service, any service under managed services, it will be in the it will be in the plan budget, right? And it is in the form of in the mode of control. So we can control that cost. We can we have a control over that cost. And at the same time, it is predictable. As I mentioned earlier, so the managed services is modeled in a such a way that it predictable. It has a it can maintain the consistency. So then there's a predictable cost, predictable way of working for the business. So then at the same time, the managed services has a central delivery team. So then all these functions are delivered in a central team, or it could be physical central team, or it could be virtually central team. So then they will take that responsibility of looking after the IT ecosystem in the business. And next one is the service assurance in the form of application and the service availability or the system availability. So if we using the services and the functions of managed services, this has been structured to make sure the application is available for the business and in a greater degree. So then there is a commitment. There is a there is a commitment to make the application or the service or the system available for the BAU, the business as usual operations, or run the business. So if the application is not available, there are remediation activities, there are fixing, there are workarounds executed by the support teams, the technical support teams. So then using those small components, small services, small actions, we make sure that the application is available to the expectation of the business or the organization. And then next one, the managed services team, if we have a dedicated and focused and the skillful or the qualified team, they will keep on doing keep on fixing the issues and keep on avoiding the issues, and in terms of proactive ways. And if it is an incident happens, then that is a reactive. They start fixing those issues when by continuously doing that same function consistently for a given period. There is a way that actually we can reduce the incidents from an application or a environment. And then there are certain mechanisms using proactive monitoring to avoid the issues. So likewise, the having managed services or the having support function running is helping in that way. And then since we have a dedicated focus and the model managed services team, the business can get faster response, faster resolution to the end users, even though impact has happened, or even though the interruption has happened. But still, the recovery is very fast and the responses are very fast if we have the dedicated team, if we have a managed services function is run. And then since we have a focus and a specialized team, over the period of time, we incrementally we can build a knowledge base in terms of application knowledge, in terms of business operation knowledge, in terms of technical knowledge, in terms of challenges, in terms of how to overcome the challenges, in terms of analyzing the situation, in terms of facing the critical situation, recover from the critical situation. Likewise, it has multiple dimensions. So that particular function itself create a knowledge base for the organization, for the industry. And then I think I have touched upon this. We have trained, experienced, and qualified pool of resources to face any of these challenging situations in the BAU. And then the specialization. So if you take programming, if you take QA, if you take business analyst, if you take any other discipline in the IT world, this is also a specialized area, specialized subject. Since we have the technical, the process and operation specialization, this will be a unique, then these teams, these deliveries, these services will function in a unified ways across the world. Because as I mentioned earlier, the managed services is also modeled with the support of all these international standards. So in that, we get that unified way of working, the world-class way of working automatically when we are delivering these managed services deliveries. So why they need why the business need this? Because all the businesses are trying to go to the next level, go to the more competitive way, take the competitive advantage and increase the market share. So in order to achieve that with the other competitors, they need to definitely go with the this unified way of working to have that competitive advantage. And the other one is the next point. Uh, the business is able to focus on their given job rather than focusing on the technical aspects and the other impediments. So having this managed services helping them to stay focused on their business. So that is very important. So because they will be doing their what they are good at, and the technical support teams we will be doing their job, and that is what they are good at. So, and then it could be telecom, it could be banking. So they will be keep on focusing on the banking or the telecommunication areas. And then the other important fact is that since we have a specialized team and since we have a unified way of working, so the business gets the operation excellence or day by day, because there will be new learnings, there will be new industry best practices introduced. So then those will be get cross-pollinated across multiple different deliveries. In all the deliveries, in the other words, if you take ADM, so if we do some introduce some best practice, we introduce same best practice across all the engagements. So then that will be beneficial for the end customer or the end consumer. And this will come with the continuous service improvement. So as I mentioned earlier, doing the consistent way continuously gives us more opportunities to improve, identify the improve areas, and do the optimization and the improvements. So, and okay, in nutshell, this is why we need managed services. So I hope you understood why we need managed services. And with that, let me take you to the managed services delivery model. Right. So as I mentioned in the first couple of slides, so these are the different functions or the different services the managed services delivers in your right hand side of this diagram. And all these services are delivered by the people. We have then the process, the best practices, and we use the knowledge. The communication is the key, and the compliance, and the tools and techniques. So this is the kind of the helping components of all these managed services. Then we have we have a strategy. We need to form a strategy what the managed services delivery is. As I mentioned earlier, there are different components, there are different technologies, different tools, different services falling under managed services. But if you take one particular delivery, right, we need to have a strategy. What are we going to deliver? Right? And then we need to have planning, and that means how we are going to deliver. And then if we know the target, if we have a plan, so then it's a matter of transforming that plan into a reality. So that is where the transition comes. So then this transition could be service transition. It could be we are taking over from some other vendors. Maybe the same engagement has been delivered by somebody else, and we are taking over. Or it could be we are taking over if it is a fresh software or the fresh application or environment, we are taking over from the development environment or the implementation team, the development team or the implementation team. There's a transition or handover in that also. Or could be we are introducing a new practice, new delivery. Right? We can have any of these three flavors. And then the delivery. So delivery phase in the sense where we start day-to-day operations and deliver. When we are delivering, we need to know what are the services we are delivering, how we need to deliver, what are the nuts and bolts in the delivery engine, likewise. So that is where the delivery comes. And then the governance. This is very, very important thing, because no matter how good the other functions runs. Without governance, it's really hard to, maintain that consistency, maintain that quality, maintain that delivery level, the international level. So then all these components, all these functions are governed by one function, which is governance. It has all the governing parameters, governing thresholds, governing what do you call benchmarking values. Likewise, so then we do have that function. We do have those functions under governance, and then this is very important. So then, because always customers and the end users expect something better than better tomorrow than today. So then the continual service improvement should be there. This cycle will not end on this. So this will running across this continuous service improvement also same. The continuous service improvement will start from the day one itself. So we will be identify the improvement areas, and then we will make a list of it, and then we prioritize it, and then we start gradually implementing it. So likewise, we are making this better, better and better day by day. So that's how this model works. And then this is the model, and how this has been transformed into a to deliver any of these service or combination of these services. We build the service, we manage the service, we operate and support. So that is what we that is how we model this delivery under managed services. And other important thing is all these activities, all these services, all these actions are time bound. So we are committing a time. We are making a commitment, which is service level agreement driven delivery model. So any issue fix or any service request or any task, so we commit a time. So that means that's why we make that commitment to the business. So then business also can plan their work, because the technical deliveries or the technical support deliveries are time bound. Time bound in sense time committed deliveries. So that's how the managed services delivery model has been designed in ADL. This has been supported as I mentioned earlier, the industry best practices like ITIL, ISO, CMMI. So those are kind of a guidelines, or the enablers to come up with this kind of a model for a ADL as an organization. Right. So then if I take you to the managed services structure in ADL, so we are serving multiple different countries at the moment with the support of country heads for each and every country. And as I mentioned earlier, we have 3 layers architecture, service architecture in this ADL managed services organization. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 4 would be the product development and R&D and so on and so forth, which is the different discipline or different division altogether. And level 1, now you can see the components or the services that I have explained earlier has been modeled, structured in a way to deliver certain set of services. So then the knock functions, knock engineers are there to run the knock operation, the service desk engineers, and there is a the governance. There is a governance body in all these layers to govern that deliveries. And if you take L2, I have put the superset of services here, but it could be this. It could be this as a final delivery, or it could be combination of one of these, maybe couple of these services in level 2. And level 3 is a expert level or the SME level support. So that is also, it consists of different roles and different types of functions under this managed services structure. And this has been managed by the project managers and the service managers. Mostly the service managers are the service management is the role where the overall delivery responsibilities comes under. And then we have the tech leads and there's architects uh, uh, as a governance to govern the entire deliveries, and then the HODs or the practice heads in Harvard uh, uh, to define these governance models and to define these deliveries and do this strategization uh, under managed services. Then we have a senior leadership on top of that. And if you take this model, so we do have these teams functioning in multiple different locations as we speak. And when we are delivering the service also, there could be deliveries such as we can deliver the teams on site in the customer location itself, or maybe we can have a 100% off-site delivery. That means fully remote, and or maybe near site. Maybe on demand we can send on site, or maybe we can have a mix of any of these, right? So that's why uh, it's a as I mentioned earlier also, uh, it's a discipline where we can model uh, uh, as per the client's expectation uh, according to their business requirements. Right. So, and then let me take you through the offerings that we are doing at the moment. If you take domains, we do cover mainly on telecommunication, because we are majority of our deliveries are with telecommunication side, and we have fintech, IoT, data engineering, AI, RPA, digitization. So these are the things that we have been delivering, and these are the new things that we are planning to go to. And in terms of capabilities, we have monitoring service tests. I think we have touched upon those things, and we have capabilities, and we got the certification in terms of CMMI and ISO also. And we do have our certified members in our team in terms of the processors, in terms of cloud technologies, in terms of other technologies. So we do have a pool of resources, SMEs, to deliver these services. And if I share a couple of key statistics, so we do support 90 plus application as we speak, and we do have our own product or own platform called DTE, and we are proud to say that we are supporting six installation or 6 sites for this. That is one of our flagship products in ADA, and we also do the support for that product. And in terms of SLA achievement, in both application support and the cloud infra, we do maintain above 99%. This is way above the industry standard and industry expectation. And if you look at the recent past couple of years, we managed to reduce almost 50% of critical issues, and we managed to give 10%, 10 to 15% year on year optimization for our users. And in terms of capacity and the magnitude of our operations, like we do handle easily above 1 billion CDRs a day in the application that we are looked after. And if you take the transactions volumes, right, it's 1,000 plus range. And then in terms of optimization or the ticket ticket reduction using the continuous service improvement. It has been maintaining at kind of a 20% level for any engagement. So, and in terms of satisfaction, the client satisfaction, we get a lot of very positive feedback from most of the customers. I would say almost all the customers, and we are maintaining 4.3 plus out of 5. So, which is really commendable satisfaction, I would say. And as I mentioned earlier, so we are operating, we are delivering services for 6 countries at the moment from 3 different locations. Our decision is spread across 3 different geolocations. Okay, so in terms of skills we need for managed services, right? So basically we do see in terms of core competencies, we need to have 4, we can categorize under four areas: domain, technology, process, and the soft skills. So domain in the sense like it could be telco, it could be fintech, it could be hospitality. Like in terms of technology, the Java, C++, the cloud technologies, the database, the infrastructure, the servers, likewise. And the processors, I think we have talked enough the importance of process and what are the processes we require and the soft skills. So then these are the core competencies for a managed services professionals to have. So having these things enables you guys to become a really good managed services professional in terms of core competencies. But in terms of core skills, so we need to be vigilant because we are looking after a live operation, which is very crucial to the organization and their business. And we need to be very vigilant, and we need to have a good PR skills, public relation skills, and we should be this person should be a fast learner and should have a critical thinking, the analytical thinking, because as I mentioned earlier, we don't have much time when something goes wrong. So we have to be act very fast, and we have to be recover from the situation very fast. So we should be in a position to take quick actions with the fast response, and we need to be have a very critical thinking to come out from that situation and help the business to continue. And finally, the negotiation, right? So then we need to be a very good negotiator when we are dealing with the customer, because we are dealing with the non-technical team, or always we get somebody who is paining, who is getting the pain from some situation. So we need to be in a position to negotiate and get the situation better. Out of all this, without this one, we can't be in this business. So we had to be maintain very high level of patience. So, that's about what kind of skills and the competencies we need to be in the managed services business. Okay. So the other one is when we are in the managed services business, we need to know something about everything. So if you look at this slide, I'm touching all the areas, right? So not only the other disciplines. So we need to know something about everything, because we are dealing with the complex systems, complex application in the complex environment with all sort of technologies. The tools and technologies are the part of. Right. So, and I think I have touched upon this in the previous slide. So it is same thing. So these are the things that we need to have as a managed services professional. Then we should be a good team player. We should have good leadership skills, right? And we should be handle multidisciplinary environments, different type of customers, different types of stakeholders, different expectations, because then when we are doing all these things, we need to have that customer orientation attitude, the customer focused way of working. So because they have purchased this application or the system or the IT setup for a reason. So then they have a full right to, you know, ask for a solution, ask for a fix, ask for a recovery, quick recovery in order to continue their business. So then we need to have that customer orientation attitude. And then we need to be a very good listener, very good communicator as a managed services professional. So whoever that we have seen a lot of people like no matter how the person technically good, if you are good in communication, if you are good in customer orientation attitude, if you are a good listener, if you are if you are a person with a good PR, so then you will be very much successful in managed services discipline. And so, yes, as I mentioned earlier, you can see the managed services is collection of many subcomponents or subservices, and it covers a lot of domains, lot of technologies, lot of process areas. It's a lot of diverse in other words. So I think that diversity is the beauty of managed services, I would say, right? So and at the same time, there are enough and more tools, enough and more ways, enough and more guidance, enough and more framework, enough and more processes for a managed services professional to conquer all these, because there are a lot of very successful examples, very successful stories in managed services. I have seen, and I personally, I feel the managed services as a beauty because of this diversity, right? So, right. So with that, let me take you to the last slide. Why you need to be part of this team, right? So now you have seen that we can in managed services we are touching a lot of technologies, lot of domains, lot of stakeholders, lot of different businesses, likewise. So then you as a person, as a profile, as a professional, as an engineer, you will get your boundaries broaden. You will get more exposures to a more different technologies, the new trends, new ways of working in the industry, right? So that is the one. Another one is that you will get an opportunity to maintain thorough knowledge on latest and cutting edge technologies, because if we delay by a day or a week, so we are behind the game. So then always you will get exposed to the new technologies, because the parties or the teams, number of stakeholders that you are working with also high. You will get an opportunity to get their inputs also towards you, and then that will be a good opportunity to build a very strong and very broad knowledge in your profile, in your career. And then you will get a hands-on experience with industry best practices, because when you are working with under managed services delivery, you will work with a lot of different teams, and they will be using their own. I mean, their the regulatory practices, their processes, their standards. So then you will automatically get an opportunity to see those things, experience those things, get the hands-on experience with those industry best practices and standards. And most important thing is you will get an exposure to process-oriented way, process-oriented delivery. So when you are get your profile, get your career pollution up with the these disciplines, so then automatically you will be step up to a industry standard level. and then you will automatically, because you are not working alone, you are not even though you are one member of the team, apart from your team members, apart from your organization members, you will be automatically working with multiple parties. So then you will automatically build your leadership skills, the teamwork skills, and then the public relations skills. And then similar to that, you will sharpen your problem solving and analytical skills. I think I have touched upon this. And then the other beauty of this is you will your network, the networking with the people will be expand drastically when you are in managed services business, because you not only if you take let's take about your organization, the ADL. If you take if I take an example as ADL as an example, so we do work with all the other divisions. It could be technical division, it could be HR, it could be operations, right? Likewise, you will get a clear opportunity, right? It is on the plate to work with variety of spectrum of people across multiple domains, multiple organizations, right? So then you will have a you will build your network across, right? And then you will get when you are working with multiple different organizations, you will get that multinational exposure, multinational standard way of working. And then the other one is, so managed services is not a business where over within 1 month or a 2 or a 3. So most of the managed services engagements are long term. It could be spanned across year or 2 or a 3 or 5 years. So in that way, you will be helping the organization to have that business continuous and business steady, and the income is ready. And at the same time, you will get that stability that brings the stability to an organization. At the same time, that stability help the organization to give you back the stability of your job. So that is how that it has been linked to, right? So once we started this kind of engagement, it runs for long time. So then that means we have a long time stability in terms of job, in terms of business, in terms of organization stability, right? So that is the other one. The last but not the least, you will get an opportunity to help the nation at this moment, right? If you are a Sri Lankan, and this is the time that we need to help the nation the most, and managed services is one of the uh, good areas that we can expand, and this that we can bring more and more revenue to the nation, right? So I think that's why you need to be part of managed services team, right? I think that's all from the session perspective. Let's go to the Q&A. Before I go to Q&A, let me invite Johan to share his experience, because that's why I said I wanted to share one of the industry example. Like Johan has been known to the industry as a great managed services professional, and so I thought of letting you guys listen from Johan uh, how the managed services has been helped him to build up his career, and how it has been helping him as a person, as a profile, as a professional to become a successful in the industry. Johan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kassapa, because you did the whole presentation, and that saved me, going through this. Anyway, to your question, Kassapa, I mean, you over the, I mean, for throughout this session, you have been giving, I mean, going through the answer to that question as well. So anyway, from my experience perspective, I have like, I mean, 12 years of experience from this on this managed services, IT managed services part. So I started as an application support engineer, and because of this, the like the for the very reasons that you have mentioned throughout this presentation, because I get to move from one field to another. Like for example, I started as a application support engineer, then I moved to like the infrastructure database support and in infrastructure support, and also like I get to learn a lot of things. Not only like learning in like you get to learn hands-on like to maintain multiple databases like say Oracle, DB2, HANA or whatever it is. Like so many flavors of databases, and also you get to learn hands-on. So that type of exposure is there. And also since as you mentioned, like you work with multiple teams and multiple experts, you get to learn from them as well. So you become very lucky on learning new things, and also learning, I mean, you have so many people around you to learn things, and also to guide you to some in certain cases, to direct you in certain situations like that. So that's one example, one advantage of managed services. The other one is you get to work with so many people, not only the development team, not only some internal teams, you get to work with the external customer as well. So for example, in my case, I have been with the telco industry, and also I have worked with some other teams as well. So while I was in the hardware support, I have been to almost all the banks in Sri Lanka. So you get to learn, I mean, to meet a lot of people. So your, what do you call your, if you are, as you said, if you are a good PR person, you can, I mean, build good relationship with these people. And also like apart from these things that you learn and you meet, and you get to learn some other small stuff. Like for example, when you're in managed services, you prepare reports, you prepare slides, you prepare documentation, you documents, document requirements, things like that. So you I mean, certain things that you might not learn in other areas, you get to learn. Like, so you will be, as you mentioned in one of your slides, that managed services person should be know something from everything. That part automatically fills from this when you are working in this environment. Anyway, let me add something into that as well. Like you have to be really keen on learning new things, and also you have to work really hard as well. So that part, of course, you have to have. Then, I mean, the opportunities are with the managed services is like ample. You could learn a lot of things, and you could move from one field to another very easily within the managed services. I think that was my experience, and also that's how I see it as well, Kassapa. Your mic is mute, Kassapa.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Johan. Thank you for sharing your insights and your experience with the audience. So I think the presentation as well as the Johan's input together the make you guys more insight. They give more insight into managed services in our session. So I think with that, let's quickly. I think now we are running out of time also, but that's okay. Let's quickly open up the forum for any questions or any clarification that anybody would like to have before we wind up the session. Yeah, I think the silence says I think nobody has any questions or any clarifications required. Sahan, I think we can. I think that's all from my end and Johan's end, and we can wind up the session. And thank you very much for your time spent. Sorry, apologies for extending a bit, but we would like to thank on behalf of ADL for joining with us and sparing your time to listen to this session. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best. Yeah, Sahan, over to you.
Thank you, Kassapa. Thank you, Johan. Nitish, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you, Kassapa. Thank you, Yohan, once again for taking your time to conduct this insightful session on managed services. We had quite a big turnout today, so hopefully it was a knowledgeable session to everyone that joined. Once again, just one more round. If anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask away. Kassapa, Yohan, will give everyone just maybe 5 minutes to see if they want to have any last minute questions.
Sure.
Okay, sure.
Looks like I don't think there are any questions. It was a pretty detailed session today. So thank you guys once again for taking the time to do this session. Yeah, thank you for everyone for joining as well. Kassapa, you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day ahead and a nice week ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. You too.
Right. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining the today's session.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Kassapa. Thank you.
Thank you.